What's up, guys? It's Jordan and Alex. Today I'm coming at you with the fishing report. We're going to start out with rockfish.
All right, guys, so let's start here with some rock fishing. Still a lot of good fishing out there whenever you can get out there. We had some rough weather here the past week, but whenever you had a little bit of time and the weather was nice and calm out there, there was fish to be caught. Now, the fish have spread out a little bit. They're obviously moving around, finding those bait schools, and there's still plenty of them out there. The biggest thing is, trying to find them with the tides. Tides are pretty extreme this time of the year. So once again, as long as you have some tide movement, that's going to be the most important thing. But before we start about, like the spots and what areas have produced the most, let's talk about regulations. As of right now, we've been getting a lot of questions about, what the regulations are. Talked to Eric from DNR, and he said right now we're following the same thing from last year, which is catch and release until March, the end of March. Unless something changes, they should be coming out with finalized regulations by the end of this month, probably the beginning of February. So we know for sure that there's going to be some changes for the spring. There's still a few things that they're discussing. So remember, follow the same regulations as of last year, which is catch and release until the end of March. Now, getting back into the actual fishing, we got a lot of fish out there. Once again, plenty of 40-plus inch fish. We haven't seen this in a while. Right now, they're a little more spread out. We were talking about Chesapeake Beach. Everybody was going down to Chesapeake Beach. They're everywhere, guys. There's guys that will stay in Eastern Bay, and obviously, you're not going to find them as thick as down towards Chesapeake Beach and south, but you will find some smaller schools in Eastern Bay, anywhere from Bloody Point into like Tillman Point area, all spread out through there. There's been so many different stories of people catching them in shallow too, around Fishing Bay and those areas where there's some guys saying that they find them in 5-6 foot of water. They're chasing bait. So right now, like I always tell myself, if you find a bait, you're eventually going to find a fish. And that means you can either sit there and wait. If you're in massive schools of bait, and you're just waiting for them to show up, depending on the time, they will be there. Now, remember, depending on how deep you're fishing and how strong the current is, I've seen a lot of people arguing about what jig size they need to use. Obviously, you're not going to use the same jig size all the time. It's all depending on how deep and how strong of a current you have. I will say anywhere from 1 ounce to, about 2, maybe even 3 ounces if it's that strong of a current and you're that deep and those fish are on the bottom. The fish are on top, like we always heard these stories of guys coming in saying they're on top, they're blowing up. Guess what? You can throw pretty much anything out there, let it sink for a few seconds, and then just reel. Bring it up the water column, cast it out, start reeling, you will catch fish. I wouldn't say there's any hot areas for this week since we only had a few fishable days. But once again, fishing anywhere from Solomon's to Point Lookout is probably going to give you the most rate of success with the less boats around, more schools of fish, and obviously there's going to be a lot more water to cover. So running from, Solomon's down to 72, down towards Point Lookout is going to be a great area. I don't think these fish are going to go anywhere. I think most of these fish are going to stay around. They're just going to move a little bit south. They're going to move a little bit deeper. We do have a nice cold front coming in this upcoming week, so the temperatures are going to drop. And you know what happens with that. Those fish are going to slow down a little bit. They're going to move deeper. The water temperature is going to drop. So it's going to be a whole new pattern by the time we get to the middle of the week. Stick with the same lures, paddle tails, straight tails, jigs. If you're trolling out there, remember to follow those regulations with, I think it's on like 4 or 6 rods, something like that. Check your DNR website for those details on there. And once again, get out there on those days. Now, a little bit of weather is fine as long as it's manageable winds. Sometimes those are going to be your best days to get out there. Don't wait for that flat, calm day, because guess what? Sometimes those can be the worst days. Before the front and after the front, it's always a 50-50. If you go before the storm comes through and you have a little bit of a window to get out there, it's probably going to be the best fishing of your life out there. Get out there, guys. This is a time of the year. Like I said, since we're getting rid of the spring season, if your boat's put away and whatnot, guess what? I would put it back out on service and get it out there, because this is going to continue throughout March. Now I'm going to kick it out to Jordan here to talk about some of the stuff going on in the creeks here.
So I'm going to talk about some pickerel fishing to start out. I've been catching a lot of pickerel, and on the deeper piers, they're really tight to structure this time of year. For example, at Tuckahoe, if you go way up the creek into the rivers, you'll find them behind laydowns in the moving water. I've had a lot of good luck with like a small 2.5 to 3 inch paddle tail on like a 16th ounce jig head, and that's been producing for me. And then I've also been catching some bass doing the same thing, but more in the slower moving waters. And then there's dying grass patches at Tuckahoe too, where the bass position themselves on the back side of them when the moving water's coming across, and you can get into some nice fish doing that. And then local for the Severn and Magathy, I've been catching them still on paddle tails and jerk baits now. The bites kind of turned over and stayed jerk baits for the last couple weeks for me. So just your X wraps have been doing really well, and some of the deeper water, if you can find that like 5 to 8 foot depth range, they'll be sitting in there positioning off the bottom. So
yeah, a lot of good stuff around. Obviously, if it's too windy, get on those creeks and fish for some of those pickerel. But another option for you guys out there, if you don't even want to go out on a boat or kayak, whatever, the DNR, it's stocking trout right now. They're doing their pre-season stocking, and that means get on their website, sign up for the emails, or look at the map that they have on their website. And right now, they stocked a lot of the ponds in PG County. I know Allen's Pond is one of them. There's a whole bunch of them over there. I think most of the southern region of Maryland got hit with some stocking of just rainbow trout. So guess what? If you want to take the kids out for a little, walk in the park and fish a little bit, this is the time to do it. And obviously they're tasty fish, so get out there, check that out, get on that website, and get out and catch some trout. And we have plenty of the stuff here, so if you need anything, we obviously have it here. I think that's it for the fishing report, guys. Make sure to come by. Remember, it's that time of the year to fix everything that needs to be fixed. So stop by and get some hooks, and just come by and say hi. Have a good one.